to say hello.
Hello.
Right, hello everybody. So today we are doing the beet harvester. I'm going to say repair, but we might not yet. So what we're going to do, when we were harvesting, or when we finished harvesting, it was on the last load. We were just about to pack up and the whole lot broke down. So what happens, drive comes across from the shaft under there, drives this cleaning turbine. The drive carries on through the shaft here, drives a chain, which drives these like a flipper thing in here to flick the beet out of the lifting wheels onto the turbine. When we finished, it's all blocked up, still blocked up now because we haven't unblocked it. These flipper wheels were still turning, but the turbine in here wasn't going round. So we know drive is coming through the gearbox, but we also know drive is not going down through the shaft to turn the old turbine. So what we're going to do, take the lid off and see what's in there.
Stick that there.
I don't know if I can reach.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't dry. That's oil.
Why do we keep filling all out there?
And that bolt. There we are.
Oh, there should be one over there. Is it a bolt or a...
Well, that's threaded. Whether he's... No, he's been bodged before. There's another sheared bolt in there. And there's a bit missing off of that worm. That looks a bit chewed up, but I don't suppose it is.
Why are you trying to turn it for?
Well, let's see what happens, because obviously the shaft's turning through here.
Oh, I see.
I expect that's spinning on the shaft. If we can turn these flipper wheels, see if the shaft moves.
Yeah.
What, inside?
Yeah.
Inside the worm?
Yeah. Well, it were, but the worm's stopping still now, isn't it?
That's all mangled up on the end there, isn't it? See, put it on the bolt. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, spinning on the shaft.
Yeah. There's a hole that end as well.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the book. Because that's mangled up there, isn't it? A little bit.
There's only scratched.
Well, it's not going to stop it. Yeah, that's the side it drives. It only drives one side, doesn't it? It's always pushing that way.
Yeah, it looks better than I expected.
Yeah, I thought this would be dry. So that's nothing to worry about, is it?
Well, why do you keep putting so much oil in there?
Well, because it do drop. But that's, you can see there he's broke. He's been broke before, and somebody's put a...
Is it a bolt then or a
I don't know. This is a
pin?
bolt, but I don't know what that... No, it ain't hollow. I don't know what it was. You just have to go and read the book.
As long as there ain't a stone or something
Well, we
jammed
just have
in
to
there.
unblock it.
Well, yeah.
It's still bunged up at the moment, but that's the problem. Whatever, somebody has bodged that in. Because that's original there, and somebody's put something down the side of it.
What's the hole the other
I
end?
don't know. Can't see. It's not threaded.
I bet there's supposed to be two. Oh, let's have a look at the instructions.
Well, we should go and look at the parts. But, well, at least we know it ain't nothing major.
Yeah, but why did it go?
Well, because that probably ain't big enough. He's lasted long enough, so
Well, yeah.
he's done 6
It's
years.
not. It just goes right the way through, does it? Not just.
What, the shaft?
Yeah.
Don't know.
It's not just.
Well,
screwed
it could be
down.
2 shafts coming in either side, but I don't expect so. I expect it's one right through. Well, it's not a major disaster anyway.
Well, as far as we can tell.
Well, we can mend that easy enough.
Yeah, we know we can, but why did it go? Is what I'm.
Well, yeah, there could be a stone in there that caused it, or it could just be wear on a thing that's not really man enough for
Yeah.
doing the job.
I reckon it's a pin.
Go and read the book. Bring it out. So there we go. We seem to have diagnosed our problem. It's not a major disaster. Reckon hopefully we can fix it fairly easily. It all depends on how much we've got to take apart. Obviously this is all going to have to come off. That guard see how far we've got to take it apart before we can slide that shaft out. And Dad's gone to get the parts book, so we can see what it's supposed to look like. Because I've got a feeling that bolt in there is not well, it ain't original. Well, you know, that's obviously a past repair. Okay, so here is our parts book. So this is a gearbox. This here is the worm that we were just looking at, and number 17, if you can see over here, number 17, and amongst all the Dutch writing or whatever it comes from, conical pin and a nut. So that's what we've got here. So we could see the empty hole this side, and I said it looked like a bodge job, and there was an M8 bolt put through. So what we've got to do, somehow get it apart, get that, I think this end one was broken off looking at it, and get that M8 bolt out, and attempt the repair. So there we go, we have discovered our problem. Kind of formulated plan A for repair. How far plan A goes, we might end up on plan B or C yet, you never know. So what we've got to do, first thing, get it near the workshop. It's nowhere near at the minute and just too far away to carry stuff. Make a start on seeing what we've got to do to get it all apart, because that worm, I reckon it's going to have to come out of there to get that broken pin out of this side, and potentially underneath that big gear there could be some other bits broken off in the past that, you know, may be hiding under there. So we've got to get all that out, make sure there isn't any bits of metal in there, because if, say, a nut gets picked up on that worm, traps between the worm and the wheel, and tries to go in the, you know, the teeth, that makes a mess. So we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. So right, we're going to leave it for today and come back another day when we're making, so we're starting the strip down. Right, so time has moved on a couple of weeks since we did our little reveal. So we're now relocated by the workshop. We have got all the beet out. Oh, there's one still in there. So we cleared the blockage, took this cover off, took the chain off. So what we've got to do now, pull this bearing off. That will then come back, and after that we're going to make it out as we go along, because I don't really know what we're doing, but we're gonna do it anyway. Right, so what we found in here is not pretty. These three keyways are wore, seriously worn. There is some on the end of the screwdriver, some metal bits that have fell out from somewhere. On the edge of this, all around the edge, is very, very sharp where it's been running against the worm. I did have that all lined up to try and tap that out. Bits come out. There's another bit floating in the bottom there. Okay, so we have done a kind of a half repair. So you remember when we took it apart, this was the only pin through. What we've decided to do in the long run, so this shaft here is worn out, or worn. This big gear is worn in the centre. We saw the splines all chewed up. The worm will probably go again. For the amount we use, you know, we're going to reuse that. But this really, in the long term, this needs to be replaced. But as things are at the minute, we're not in any big hurry to go spending out potentially several hundreds of pounds, because that doesn't look cheap. You know, that's not a cheap gear there, and that shaft. So we're going to take a chance, and these are just bolts. Just put in some M8 standard bolts and take a chance. So the last little bit we've got to do, rather than spending out all this money for the rest of, you know, we've only got probably an acre and a half left to harvest. That will do it for sure. You know, we're confident that will last out. Whether these bolts will is a bit of an unknown. But this is what we fished out at the bottom. So this is what it should be in there. 2 of these should be in there. But we've never opened this gearbox before. And earlier in the video I could see these bits floating around, and this is all we've pulled out. So I'm fairly confident that since we've owned this machine, it's always been running on one pin, which admittedly is probably harder than the bolts we've put in, but we're going to chance it for the rest of this season, hoping that them 2 bolts is going to finish off, just so that we haven't got to spend out. I mean, so these machines are still available. There is a British importer or a UK importer, so I'm pretty sure we're going to get these parts. I'm pretty sure they're going to be available, just not at the moment. We're just not in a position at the minute to be prepared to spend out the kind of money that these are going to cost. So we're going to chance a pair of bolts. Hopefully it'll work. So there we are, filled it with oil, lid back on. And you can probably hear we're hitching on at the same time, multitasking. So we're going to go and lift some beet. Assuming it works. I reckon it will. We're going to find out anyway, aren't we? So there we go. It's all turning around. All we've got to do now is go and harvest some beet. So that'll be the next video, because you asked for it. So you have to see a bit more beet harvesting. So hopefully next week. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.